Good morning. It's good to be here. Well, welcome to Maker Faire Chengdu. And I come from San Francisco, California, where I started first Make magazine about 12 years ago. And I understand that make means, or the word xiao and make are pretty similar words. So this whole, in a sense, maker movement started with the idea that we enjoy making things. It's fun. It's something we like to do. We can do it with other people, and we can learn new ways of doing it. This is our desktop fabrication issue, and we're reviewing some of the new 3D printers and CNC machines and other things that are out there. It's one of our more popular issues. I would like to give this copy to someone who can make use of it. Monica, thank you. Just raise your hand if you'd like. Kevin, you already got it. So maybe just finding someone who has enough English that's useful for it. There we go. There's some people back there. I'd like to thank Eric Pan and Monica and Leslie and other people from Seed Studios who've been our partners in organizing Maker Faire for so many years. And they've done such a great job. And it's wonderful to see it here in this beautiful city. So, can you bring up my presentation? All right, there we go. All right. So, again, you know, making is a way for us to get together and do things. We see a lot of families making, fathers and children, mothers and daughters and sons. These are mostly pictures from our Maker Fairs around the world. And I'm going to show you a short video. So after I started Make, I had the idea that I was meeting so many interesting makers. And could I bring them together and have them share their work? And would people enjoy it? Would people come to it? So we've done Maker Faire in San Francisco for 11 years. And we've done Maker Faire in New York for 7 years. And this is a short video about the most recent Maker Faire about a month ago in New York City. So many different people coming here and finding something that I hope inspires them to become makers in their own lives. NICI is not just a venue, it's actually a shared mission here that I think we connect around, bringing all these people together, making this event what it is.
Really, our work all year gets us ready for Maker Faire. It means that we're engaging our entire community in prototyping and helping us design activities that really speak to our value of designing, making, and playing.
I think this is just a great place to come and explore all of the different projects, whether it's professional Google or students that did things at their school.
I brought here Gilly, or Colopterus corpus. It is a 16-foot tall, 21-foot toe-to-toe activated critter that is an amalgam of all my favorite animals.
We've gone for the past 3 years. It's kind of been a tradition. Maker Faire is inspiring because you find projects and you're usually inspired to do your own project or elaborate on their projects.
This is Topor the Great. It's a robot that we use for showing people in the community what we can do at the Fab Lab.
Maker Faire is an amazing innovation festival, and the thing that is really powerful about making is everybody can find a foothold and feel successful.
Maker Faire is
So, thank you. So, Maker Faire we see as a kind of a place to do show and tell. To share what you're doing. On the back wall there it says making meets sharing. That's exactly the point that we see at Maker Faire. It's one thing to make something, it's another to share it with other people. Today they go hand in hand. And I think one of the things that Maker Faire and Making are doing is I think broadly a cultural thing, a society thing. It's to get us to see ourselves as not just consumers, but also producers, builders, creators. And it's not just a few of us, but really all of us can do this. This year we have over 190 Maker Fairs in 40 countries. You can see Beijing, Shenzhen, Chengdu now, but really quite a number of places around the world. We did a Maker Faire at the White House in 2014. President Obama and met the electric giraffe we had. And I think a lot of people have understood that one of the real values of Maker Faire is to inspire people to do things, but particularly young people, to see themselves as makers and as a way to get involved in science and technology in a way that's fun. I have a new book out called Free to Make, and I think partly I wanted to make sure, as Monica said earlier, that we understand that making is not just about business. It's really about us as people. That making is something we do as humans. We're wired to do that. And we enjoy it. We're born that way. And given access to tools and materials, we like to make things. And let me give you a basic definition of making. It's really to start with an idea that's in your head and to begin to realize that idea by working with tools and materials and iterating over that until you get something that you can actually show and share with other people. Making, I think today, it leads us to a kind of renaissance. Renaissance means revival or rebirth. But what I'm thinking of making is sort of at the intersection today of science and technology, of art and business. And it's bringing all those things together. It's not just about science, not just about technology, but it is also about art and even how do we make a living doing this. I think it's also importantly reintroducing hands-on learning back to many people who have not had that experience. Sometimes making hands, but also just using your hands as a way of learning. John Dewey's an American educational philosopher who said over 100 years ago that we learn best when we learn by doing. When we don't just read about it, but we actually do it. It's experiential. It's something we learn from trying. And it's personal. It means something to us to create something and be able to share it with other people. And it's something that's in all of us. At the youngest ages, we can take the simplest materials and make something out of them. And sometimes, I hope that this way of making will find more women engaged. It has often been something that men do, but not as many women. Yet women do make, and it's a matter of understanding what they do and what they're interested in and valuing that as much. But we're hoping to see more making as a way of introducing more women to science and technology. But I think what you get out of making is not just the things you make. It's really a practice. It's something that you do over and over again, and it develops a mindset. I was told that the word Chengdu comes from kind of a similar idea that we have in America called can-do. And a maker mindset is a can-do mindset. It says, I can solve a problem. I don't expect other people to solve my problem. I can solve it myself, and I'm interested in learning how to do that. And so it's in a sense, developing the powers to solve problems that are important to you and your community. Marshall McLuhan said, we shape our tools and our tools shape us. So when something like 3D printing comes along, it changes how we think about what can be made. And this woman is wearing I think it's measuring her brain waves and allows her to control some other things around her. So we begin to see the world differently because we're engaged in creating that world. Making changes us, and it changes the world. And I think that's a really important thing for us to appreciate. We're actually creating culture. We're not just creating products. We are creating the world around us. And as I've said many times, we can't buy the future. We have to create it. We have to make it. And we need to have more of us involved in making it. Makers are innovators, and often they start by solving their own problem, like these young people who created their own prosthetic limbs. Makers are talented people. And I think when you walk across Maker Faire, and if I were to get to know each of you, you'd see that each of you have your own unique talents. And if we can combine those talents in new ways, we can create really new things, and we can solve problems that we have never been able to solve before. But we have to believe in each other as having those talents, those gifts. And we want to develop those gifts in each other and support that development. And that's why it's a cultural thing. It isn't just going to school or getting a job. It's about creating a supportive, creative culture and environment. So the one thing I would like to ask all of your help in, the biggest challenge we have is to make more makers, to create more people who have the skills, the knowledge, and the mindset to make. And each of you can help in sharing what you know, what you can do, and also working with other people in the community who may not know about this and who may not have understood that they too are makers. Making, in particular in America and Europe, we're seeing a lot of maker spaces in schools and libraries. Very important that we have the practice of making introduced to as many kids as possible. They need time and materials and expertise to be able to do this. And we're seeing the growth of maker spaces around the world. This isn't a particularly accurate map, but just show you an indication of how they are spreading everywhere. Fab Labs globally, more and more of them, kind of all, I think, the same idea. And then tech shops, more of a commercial version of a maker space, opening in Paris and other places. There are maker spaces in universities like MIT and here at Case Western Reserve, when students are encouraged to come in and use the facility to make things. This is new in a funny way into schools. So if we wrap all of these things together, what the maker movement is, I think one of the things, it has the power to change our lives, to change our communities, particularly change our cities. And so I just was a co-author on this book called Maker City, and really talking about how do we build creative communities, how do we create more economic opportunity for all of us, to revitalize manufacturing and supply chains, to reshape education and workforce development, and to redefine ways that we can all engage in the city around us and creating the city, making it interesting, contributing to it. So I leave you with this thought that I think the most important thing we do as makers, apart from what we make, is that we're building a community of makers of all different flavors and kinds of making. And the support that we give each other, the ways that we interact with each other positively, creatively, that's the real power of the maker movement today. So I hope you'll get involved and join us in spreading the maker movement and helping it find a prosperous home here in Chengdu. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
so much, Dad. We're really pressed for time.